Paul McCartney has 32 songwriting number ones. John Lennon has 26. The only other songwriter to dominate in the 1970s had 16 number one hits. 16 number one hits. Can you name the artist? Can you name their number ones? Can Tripp Rogers? I'm Phil Yale, of course. That's Tripp Rogers. And the challenge for this episode, name 10 of Barry Gibb's 16 number one written Billboard hits. If you're ready, let's start tripping.
Obviously, you start with the low-hanging fruit. It would be the Bee Gees songs. How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? That was number one.
It was number one in 71. You're right.
Jive Talkin' in 75.
Absolutely correct.
How Deep Is Your Love?
How Deep Is Your Love? That was in 1977.
Stayin' Alive.
Staying Alive, 1978.
Night Fever.
You're just not into this music at all, Tripp. You can't name any of these. Of course, 1978. Spent 8 weeks at number one.
Tragedy.
I know it's on the list. You're just going so fast here. I can't keep up with you, dude.
That was 1979.
Tragedy, 1979. You're absolutely right.
Too Much Heaven.
Too Much Heaven. Fortunately for me, it's right above that on the list. That was back in 79. All the royalties for this song were donated to UNICEF to celebrate the International Year of the Child.
Okay. And by the way, the Barry Gibb number ones, are they from the are they from the 60s to the 80s, or are they 70s only?
Well, as I answer that question, Tripp, they're from the 70s. Looks like a few leaked into the 1980s. And for the audience, Tripp is not made aware in advance what the challenge is. His answers, I mean, these are just rolling off the top of his head.
All right. I think they got to number one, Guilty with Barbra Streisand. That would be 1980.
Guilty is not on this list. There is a Barbra Streisand song, though.
Oh, okay. I was going to say the other one, which would be Islands in the Stream.
Islands in the Stream. That was Kenny Rogers, right? And Dolly Parton. Yeah, there we go. 1983.
Correct.
He originally wrote this, which is interesting. He originally wrote this for Marvin Gaye. Hey, Tripp, I just want to do a real quick count here, if you don't mind. This is me trying to pause you a little bit so I can keep up with you. How Can You Mend a Broken Heart? Jive Talkin', that's 2. How Deep Is Your Love? And Stayin' Alive, that's 4. Night Fever is 5. Too Much Heaven is 6. Tragedy is 7. Islands in the Stream is 8. You only need 2 more.
This is where again, the low-hanging fruit aspect of things.
I can give you a hint if you want a hint.
Yes, please.
There were 4 Gibb brothers. Not all performed with the Bee Gees.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I Just Want to Be Your Everything.
And that was by who?
Andy Gibb.
Yep.
Shadow Dancing, Andy Gibb.
Yes. So you've got it. Keep going. There was one more, I think.
And Everlasting Love, I think, by Andy Gibb may have hit number one, but I don't think so. So that would be, I think we've hit all the number ones for Andy Gibb.
There was one more I'm seeing
from his brother.
It was in 1978.
Oh, If I Can't Have You. If I Can't Have You by Von Elliman.
That's correct. That is correct. There's one more by Andy Gibb in 1978.
All right, An Everlasting Love. Love is thicker than water.
Love is thicker than water. That is right.
Yeah, that was I'd forgotten that the Bee Gees had done that. Had done all of his his first two albums. Um, and the story on that was the fact that the Bee Gees really, Andy was too young when they had gone, and they had gone and got their fortunes, and they had their families and stuff, and then Andy said he wanted to do music, so the brothers said, "Okay, come on, we'll help you," and that was how it started. And of course, the one of the big what ifs, you wonder, what if Elvis had lived, what would have happened with him? And what if Andy Gibb had lived, because he and the Bee Gees were going to tour together. That was their big plan, and then Andy got sick and passed away at a rather young age.
30, yeah, passed away at 30s. Um,
Yeah.
One of the things I picked up is getting ready for this episode. Hey, before I forget, I'm excited to announce a revamp of a series originally called Mystery Pack Jukebox. Tripp's been on a couple of those episodes. Well, we've got some new segments and a new title. It's called Triple Mystery Reveal, with a mystery guest, a mystery stack of records, and some mystery picks. I'm going to put a link to a video at the end of this video. Triple, let's just go through them again, because there's just a few left off this list. Going to the top of the list, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart and Jive Talkin'. We're missing one from 1976 by the Bee Gees, by the way. I Just Want to Be Your Everything. How Deep
Love
Is
So
Your...
Right?
That is not on this list.
Oh, okay.
After How Deep Is Our Love, it's Stayin' Alive. Love is Thicker Than Water, Night Fever, If I Can't Have You, Shadow Dancing. There was one from 1978, not recorded by any of the Gibbs. Then there's one, then we have Too Much Heaven, 79, Tragedy, 79. There was another one in 1979 by the Bee Gees, and one that included Barbra Streisand in 1980. Wow, what a list, by the way.
Well, okay. So the Streisand songs were Woman in Love.
Woman in Love, that's the one where Barry
Woman in
sang
Love. Yeah,
backup,
that was that one.
to Barbra.
76, boy. And then the other one from Saturday Night Fever, because it had to be from Saturday Night Fever. If I Can't Have You.
What was the theme of Saturday Night Fever? What were they constantly doing in that movie?
Oh, You Should Be Dancing.
You Should Be Dancing. Yeah.
Yeah, but you Should Be Dancing was 76. You're right. That's the 76 one. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
just 1976. That's right. So
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was 76.
there was
And
who was the star of that movie?
John Travolta.
He was the star of another movie.
Grease.
There was a song from Grease.
Gibb Brothers did a song from Grease?
No, but Barry Gibb wrote a song that somebody recorded.
The theme from Grease, Frankie Valli.
Very good. You nailed it, baby. See, I just give you a couple hints and you just jump all over it. We've only got one left. The 16 number one hits written by this dude called Barry Gibb. Candidate, I had no idea he had this many number one hits. This was from 1979. It was the band's final number one hit. And this song almost perfectly timed itself with the Disco Demolition Night that you and I have talked about on multiple occasions. Can you name that song?
And you know something, I'm getting bits and pieces on it. Love You Inside Out.
Very good. Very good. You nailed all 16 of the Barry Gibb written songs. Wow. Congratulations. Hey,
I'm the living embodiment of the phrase. I can remember obscure 60 and 70s song lyrics and titles and artists, but I can't remember why I went into the kitchen.
I used the
I live
paraphrase.
that.
I
That's
used
me.
the paraphrased version of your quote uh, in an episode in Triple Mystery Reveal. By the way, I stole it from you. I gave you credit though. I did give you writing credit for it. All right, you got all 16. I want to make a little bit of a transition here. Um, this is part of the B-side trip. I'm going to start off the B-side with this. Motown also had a songwriting. It was really a group.
Holland-Dozier-Holland.
Can you guess how many number one hits they had from 1963 to 1967? Just curious. I don't have the hits.
Holland-Dozier-Holland, I want to say, I'm going to just throw a spitball. I'm going to say 12.
You nailed it. They had 12 number one hits from 1963 to 1967. Just an incredible accomplishment. Do you have anything else? I got a couple more things for the B-side part of this now that the challenge is over. What do you got?
And two things I'll throw in on the B side. Number one, when we talk about the Bee Gees, and we talked about the disco, and the Bee Gees were the ones that really caught it. In the early 1980s, they could not get a they would release some records, but there was such their records would not sell, and they had some really good songs at that time. So they decided to go in the studio, and they became producers, and they produced again. Islands in the Stream is a Gibb Brothers production. They did Heartbreaker with Dionne Warwick, and then the Bee Gees became a concert act, and people loved seeing them. And unfortunately, then you started to have the brothers pass away, and that was, you know, the Bee Gees. Barry is still the only one who's around, and he's um, uh, you know he's a treasure. He is a treasure, and um, that's number one. And then number two, going back to Holland-Dozier-Holland. The beginning of the end for Motown, when Barry Gordy said he wasn't going to pay Holland-Dozier-Holland, and they left. And that was when the mood and everything changed in Motown. And it was at the time when Barry Gordy was concentrating on Dinah Ross and the move out to the West Coast and all the old Motown, the family atmosphere of Motown that prevailed in the early days, and it was the us against the world thing that went out the door, and it was over contract negotiations. Now, in the end, people left Motown. They would come back to Motown. Barry Gordy realized the error in his ways. He mended fences with just about everybody, if I'm not mistaken. The only artist who really stayed, two artists who really stayed, were Smokey Robinson, who of course was a member of Motown Records forever and always, and Stevie Wonder. Those were the two. Everybody else at one point or another left Motown and came back, including Diana Ross.
You mentioned that Barry's still around. Andy died at the age of 30. The two other brothers, Maurice and Robin, died in 2003 and 2012, respectively. And listeners,
Actually, and Robin died, I think, the same week or close to Donna Summer.
Oh wow, okay.
You had two of the 1970s biggest artists pass away. Like I said, it's May, if I'm not mistaken, and they passed away within a week of each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to mention my favorite Bee Gees song. I'm going to ask the audience, if you got a favorite Bee Gees song, let us know in the comments. Like the episode, subscribe to the channel. My favorite Bee Gees song actually goes back to the 60s and really wasn't even one of my favorite songs. It wasn't even on my radar until I went to see a concert with a Northeast Ohio star, Michael Stanley. And I saw him on multiple occasions, and he always told the same story about how he recorded one of his albums in the same studio as the Gibbs brothers. And he said they had the greatest pot. And of course, it would take him like 10 minutes to tell the story about the pot and how great it was and all that. But then he would launch into his version of To Love Somebody. It is such a great cover of that song. I'm going to include a link to that performance that Holly and I both had a chance to see that performance. I'm gonna include that in the show descriptions. Anything else for our B-side trip?
Well, you want to talk about songs. I mentioned "You Win Again." That was the song. It was released in 1982. That really, again, really great song. I loved it. Had a great hook on it, and they played the video on. I remember HBO when HBO used to do their video segments to fill between movies and stuff, and um, just couldn't get any traction. That's a song, and we play that on WTRS.
By the way, you can follow Tripp at WRHQ FM. That's down in Savannah, Georgia. I'm gonna include the link in the episode right down there. Right down there, you're gonna see that, and you're gonna see the link to WTRSradio.com. That's Tripp's internet radio station. Hey, our mission here is really it's to promote what I call the golden age of music. It's the soundtrack of our lives. It's more than just spinning records, it's spinning memories. I wanna thank Tripp for helping us keep that spirit of the greatest age of music alive. I wanna thank each and every one of you who are watching this video for continuing to help us build this community. If you enjoyed the show, not only like it, but doggone it, share it. Share it with the others. You got plenty of friends that would be interested in this type of content. And I'm Phil Yale. He's Tripp Rogers. Keep the coffee hot, keep the record spinning. Let's keep this conversation flowing. Thanks again for joining us on this episode of Trippin Up.